My name is Michael May. I'm the President and CEO of CCRM. It is true that Canada has a strong reputation in AI and life sciences, and I think we're just starting to, scratch the surface on what AI can do for life sciences, but it will affect how healthcare is delivered. It will affect how we conduct research and optimize research. And as an example for CCRM, we're using AI to automate manufacturing and to lower the cost of manufacturing. And that will rely on measuring patient data and samples from patients, tissue from patients, to predict how well it can be manufactured and what the manufacturing process has to be to optimize the product that comes out of that. Regardless, in order for AI to work, you need to have access to data, and Canada, with a single-payer healthcare system, should offer an opportunity to, match the expertise in AI with access to data to do some amazing things in life sciences. Canada has several advantages with respect to attracting companies from Europe. One is that we're right next to the largest market in the world, but we have excellent science and infrastructure in Canada, including clinical infrastructure, excellent universities, and often the accessibility of those strengths come at a lower cost. And, with values that I think in many ways are matched with values of European countries and companies. So access to a large market, but a way of doing business and being collaborative that is unique to Canada. Life sciences in Canada and AI benefit from a number of government programs that can help attract businesses. There are a number of programs that are tied to Canada's participation in European funding that European companies and Canadian companies can partner around. Canada has the superclusters, which are targeted at supporting industry and advancing industry. So European companies that are partnering with Canadian companies to access that funding that's beneficial. We have our IRAP program, which is specifically targeted at supporting companies. There's what are called SHRED credits, so that companies doing research in Canada, particularly if they're through Canadian companies and Canadian-controlled companies, can get up to 50 cents back in terms of tax credits or sometimes in cash to support scientific research and experimental design. And then there are programs that support academics and academic researchers that are working with companies, including supporting clinical trials, but also basic research. So there are many ways that European companies that want to access Canadian expertise and access great Canadian research infrastructure can benefit from government support. I think that European companies and really any companies around the world that want to engage with Canada will understand that sustainability is a concern for Canada. We have a strong track record of renewable energy. And how does that affect life sciences? I think that we're just starting to figure out how we can make life sciences and the delivery of healthcare more sustainable. But when we think about integrating AI with life sciences, collecting and managing and storing data takes a lot of energy, actually, and a lot of water for cooling. So I think that Canada, with its strong kind of resource and access to energy, can think about how to implement renewable strategies for AI and the delivery of healthcare. But there's still a long way to go to bring all those worlds together. But certainly in Canada, sustainability is a major objective. European companies can benefit from our strengths in access to talent. in a number of different ways. It comes with delivering clinical, healthcare and access to clinical trials, where we do more clinical trials than many countries. I mean, much more than our population would suggest. About 5% of all clinical trials in the world. Canada trains more students in AI than just about everywhere else, generating more patents than its peer countries in the G7. None of this happens without talent. That's talent at the research level, it's talent at the translation level, it's the talent embedded in entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial researchers that want to bring life sciences and AI to bear for novel companies. I think everyone needs to remember that intellectual property always comes from people. People invent things and are the ones that spark innovation and execute on innovation. So talent pool is really, really important. And Canada generates a lot of engineers, a lot of high quality students, some of the best universities in the world. It all comes together around talent. So with respect to clinical trials, Canada has a number of strengths that can work for European countries. First of all, we have one of the most diverse populations in the world. So when you do a clinical trial in Canada, you're really measuring your data against the most diverse population that you can probably find. Cost is lower in Canada for clinical trials, especially compared to the United States. And then we have excellent clinical infrastructure. The number of clinical trials in Canada, I think we're the most productive per capita clinical trial deliverer of the G7. We have 2% of the population in the world, and we conduct 5% of the clinical trials. We conduct clinical trials for all the major large pharma companies. So it's a combination of the staff to do it, the infrastructure to do it, exceptional healthcare facilities, clinical facilities, and there's probably no better place in the world to conduct clinical trials than Canada.